Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the most important conversations, liberation meditation series, which we are now also streaming on YouTube for others to experience. We've been hosting these meditations for the past 2 years, each morning, Monday through Friday. And we finally decided to begin streaming them with the hopes of being a support to whomever is called to participate and to join us in these challenging times. Each morning, our meditations will consist of a short talk, which is pulled from TMIC's Whole Life Architecture ontological program, which we lead weekly for those who are enrolled in our community and in the program. It's a creative container where participants have the opportunity to recreate their life by design in community rather than continue to tolerate their life by default. And the topic is liberation because it really is the catalytic state of the creative process. It includes the self-creation process, not just what people normally think of when they think of creativity, but in terms of art and music and that sort of thing. But creation includes the self-creation process because we are by nature creators. And these meditation talks speak to the importance of each of us attaining that ultimate state of personal power, creative power, which is liberation. After each morning's talk, we engage in a meditation. And some days these meditations are guided, and others, like this morning, we're practicing what's known as the watcher-observer meditation. We hope that you'll find these meditations helpful and encourage you to join and to invite others. And if you prefer to join the meditations live instead of going through streaming, you can go to tmicglobal.com and enroll in our free community. This morning, I'm going to be talking about liberation broadly. We have been speaking this week about ordinariness and extraordinariness, how we are conditioned by our friends, family, community, our culture to want to be extraordinary. We live in an extraordinary worshiping type of culture where we are raised to believe that we are not enough as we were when we were born. There's a proverb that Buddhist monks use where they ask a question, who were you when you were born? Most of us have no connection to who that was, or very limited. But that doesn't mean we can't connect to it. Instead, however, most of us find ourselves in a conditioned state where we have picked up who we're supposed to be, and we're supposed to be extraordinary. We are taught that we are not enough and that we need to be extraordinary because our ordinariness won't cut it. But when everyone, as we were saying earlier this week, is seeking to become extraordinary, then the ordinary, in fact, becomes the extraordinary. Liberation is kind of like organic food. It exists only relative to a condition. In the case of organic food, the condition is food that has been made toxic with herbicides and pesticides, creating the distinction between food as we now know it and organic food. Food the way it used to be, the way it was in its unconditioned, pure, and natural state. When the Buddhist monks ask the question, who were you when you were born? They are asking who you used to be, the way you were in your unconditioned, pure, and natural state. Now, it's important for us to try to connect to that. And the way we do that is by liberating ourselves from our conditioning and beginning to reconnect to the authentic source, what I call the source code of who you are, or the essence of who you are. And then from that place, learning to become a creator of your life as opposed to a consumer of life. And I don't just mean the consumption of things, although that's the obvious inference. But we can consume energy, we can consume time, we can consume space, we can consume ideas. And we do. We consume other people's energy and time, and we consume their ideas, and we adopt them as our own because we think it'll make us extraordinary. It will help us win the game that we don't even realize we're playing. And this is a form of self-deception that we've all fallen into. The self-deception that we are not enough, the self-deception that we must be extraordinary, the self-deception that we are powerless and that we relate to life through the lens of being a victim. We have a profound victim society right now, especially. You can see it if you just watch the news or observe everyday events. Everyone is blaming something or someone else for what's happening to them. Someone is at fault, and there's no responsibility on behalf of the individual who has just accepted the condition of their friends, family, community as being somehow true, somehow matter of fact. Every human on the planet who isn't on the path of liberation, who isn't connected to a liberation community, who isn't developing themselves and the ability to be a creator of their life, is relegated to an unconscious, habituated, walking emotional reaction to everything and everyone in their life, otherwise known as a victim. And we see this everywhere. The unliberated are just tolerating a life by default, having no access to and having not unlocked their creative power, having not liberated themselves from their conditioning. They haven't been able to unlock their creative power within them, and therefore are incapable and aren't even considering the possibility that they could be creating their life by design, as opposed to tolerating their life by default. So the question for all of us to consider this morning is, have you and are you continuing to create your life by design? Or are you merely tolerating your life by default and then justifying it, validating it, defending it, entrenching yourself, becoming trapped in what you're right about, and blaming others and other circumstances when things don't go your way? And when we're in this unliberated state, when we're not connected to ourself as a creator of our life, when we are relegating ourself as a victim, and it is a choice that we are making because everything is a choice, we remain in a state of what we call in the world and of the world. Our objective in working with people to help them access their creative potential to create a life by design, and therefore to liberate them so they can access that creative potential. Our objective is for people to be in the world, but not of the world. But so long as we are unliberated, so long as we are operating as a victim, we are also of the world. Of the world means that you are operating according to the values, the systems, the structures of your conditioning. Learned from your friends, family, and community, and they learned it from their friends, family, and community. And it's not a problem to learn things from your friends, family, or community. It just really depends what's being learned. For most of us, our friends, family, community are the same people who are And it's not a judgment on them. They learned it as well. They don't even realize it. They don't know what they don't know about this, but they're living from this conditioned place that we were just speaking about, relegated to an unconscious, habituated, walking emotional reaction to everything in their life. And then they taught it to you. And then they were taught it by their parents and their friends and family, and then so on and so forth. This is an inherited construct, an inherited conditioning that gets passed on from generation to generation and compounds in terms of its impact, not in a positive way, but relegating us to smaller and smaller people, to more and more victimhood. So at some point, you have to draw the line. To be a creator of one's life, we have to be liberated from this conditioning. We can choose, if we do choose, to break the cycle of egoic, identity, victim-based conditioning that has been passed on for generations. And again, no judgment or fault on behalf of our family, our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents. They didn't know what they didn't know. But at some point, someone has to have the courage to say enough is enough and to choose to stand in their power as a liberated creator of their life, liberated from their conditioning, creating from the place of who you were when you were born. And the thing about this path is once you liberate yourself from your conditioning and step into your power as a creator of your life, is it's a sort of recursive situation that creating from a liberated place leads to more creativity, which leads to more liberation, which leads to more creativity. And you've suddenly completely switched and transformed your entire life path, and it's one of your own creation by intention and by design. The reality is we're always creating our life because humans, at their essence, are creators. We just don't realize when we're creating inside of our conditioning that we're recursively creating more conditioning, and we are doubling down on being a victim, and then tripling down, and then quadrupling down. So the creative process is always in action, but it's either happening in an unconscious default state or it's happening in a conscious, aligned and by design state. And it takes us making the choice to connect to the creative path as a by design state from a place of intentionality, from a place of connecting to who we really are authentically at our core and creating a new life by design. Some of your life might remain, some of it may not. That's up for you to choose as you do the work. But all of us have the ability to be a creator of our life by design. Now, in order to do this, we have to start to connect to and understand what that feels like in our body. We have to start to be able to feel our emotions again, not as a walking habituated reaction, but using our emotions as wisdom, as information, as a guidance system for us to reflect on and respond to, not react to. We have to connect to a community of others that are on the same journey so that we are supported in it, because the conditioning of the world is so great. If you try to do it on your own, you will fail. Less than 2% of people who ever try to transform their life ever succeed at it in any capacity. And the reason is that our society is so strong, the of the world part is so strong that despite our best intentions and efforts, we always find ourselves back in our old habits. So it's connecting to that community that creates a co-creative structure for everyone to win at recreating their life. And by doing so, we actually create new conditions for a new reality and a new possibility as a society. The more this commitment of people working together to create their lives by design, the more it spreads. But it all begins with liberation. It all begins with where you are trapped in your rightness, where you are in reaction as a victim to other people or other circumstances doing things to you. Life happens, or it feels like it's happening to you. This mindset needs to be shifted. So as we move into our meditation today we're doing a watcher-observer meditation. And you can never reflect on this enough. Our lives are like the proverbial onion. You peel away a layer and there's another layer below it. Do you know that when you finally get to the center of an onion, there is no center, there's nothing there? There's just an openness and a spaciousness. The onion kind of just disappears. Layer by layer of your conditioning, you continue to peel it back. You continue to look and to observe and to watch where you're operating from a conditioned place, from a place that is not the no-thingness of the center. All creativity happens from nothing. All creativity begins with a blank page or a blank canvas or an empty song sheet. All creativity begins from a place of no thing, nothing in the mind, no idea, and then suddenly a flash. The idea pops into your mind. Where did it come from? It seems to have just emerged out of nowhere. So creativity requires a nothing state, the center of the onion. And so we continue to peel the layers back, peel the layers of our conditioning back, one layer by one layer until we get to this free, open space where we meet ourselves, perhaps for the first time. The who were you when you were born? You were what John Locke referred to as a tabula rasa, a blank slate, a nothingness, pure creative potential where anything was possible. And for most of us, that's when the conditioning began. Our friends, our family, and community meant nothing by it, but they had us named, had plans and visions for who we would become. We were born into the culture of the family. The culture of the family existed in the culture of the community and the community of the society and the society of the country. All of these onion layers of conditioning. We slowly learned how to win at that game and to become who we were expected to become. And we're never at choice for who we truly wanted to create ourselves to be. But it's never too late, and we have that opportunity now, and it begins with starting to reverse the process, reverse engineer, layer by layer, peeling back the conditioning. So as we move into our meditation, this is not a guided one this morning. It is an opportunity to sit in the spaciousness of your own thoughts, of your own emotions, and to just watch, to just observe, to not react, to not be in reaction. Just let come up whatever is going to come up, whatever thoughts come up, whatever emotions come up, let them come up. And as a prompt for your meditation this morning, open yourself to the inquiry of where am I trapped and where I'm right? Where am I trapped in holding on to the rightness an opinion that I have about something or about a person or about a situation? Where am I not open to the possibilities that something else could be at work, something else could be the case? Where am I operating from a place of victim, where I am just consuming the ideas of those around me without actually asking myself, what do I really believe? And why do I believe that? Because as we teach in our whole life architecture program, what you believe, you perceive, which reinforces what you believe, and you perceive more of the same. At some point, you have to question what you believe. Why do I believe this? Where did I get this belief from? Where did I learn this belief from? Where am I trapped in my beliefs? Where am I trapped in what I'm right about? And just let this morning your mind, your higher consciousness, and your emotions speak to you where you might be trapped in your life, where your conditioning is thinking you, where your conditioning is running your life. The truth is, it's many areas for all of us. But even if you can see one area as you are the watcher observer this morning, see what your emotions, see what your mind reveals to you. And there's nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it in the meditation. Just observe it. Let your thoughts drift by like clouds. Let your emotions rise and dissipate like steam. And just be the watcher. Just be the observer. And observe what your higher self would speak to you this morning. Where are you trapped? Where are you in conditioning? Where are you being a victim? Where are you not being open and gracious for new possibility? See what arises for you. For the next few minutes, we'll just be silently seated, get in a relaxed position, take a few deep cleansing breaths, center yourself, get comfortable, and just allow your mind to drift. If thoughts creep in and you find yourself chasing a line of thinking, that's okay. Notice it once you realize you're doing it, and recenter yourself and let the thought go. Let the emotion go. Let it just drift. And I'll come back in a few minutes and relieve us all from the meditation to allow us to get on with our day. I'll see you soon. And welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the world of effects, to the world without, from the world within. Hopefully today, something arised for you, emerged in your witnessing, in your watching and observing of your thoughts and your emotions, of some areas or area in your life where your conditioning is running the show, where you are not liberated from that conditioning, where you're finding yourself still operating from a place of a loss of power as a victim in reaction to a situation or to a person. And there's nothing to do with it immediately other than to be aware of it, to know that that's what's working under the surface, to know that that's what's thinking you. And as we break for the day, just allow yourself to meditate further on that in your quiet time, in those moments when you find yourself alone. And be open to the possibility that you, as creator, have the ability to create a new path. That by continuing to liberate yourself from these reactions, these habituated ways of thinking and being, you gain incrementally more and more power as you become less and less a victim. Through the awareness, something new begins to be possible. And I would encourage you at the right time for you, that if you're ready to work on this and to join us at TMIC and in our whole life architecture program, you will find a home and a community of people on the same journey, no longer willing to tolerate a life by default, but actively creating their life by design. Wishing you all a wonderful day. Tomorrow, we will conduct our meditation at the same time with a guided meditation. Until then, wanting to wish you all a wonderful day, and we will see you